you sit down there, inconvenient you want. I want my soda.
I think we're both right.
No, we ain't.
No, I think we're both right.
No, we ain't.
All right, I think we are. I researched it.
Go back and research some more.
I'm gonna bring back an analysis, because I got a lot writing on this.
You ask 10 lawyers the same question, you get 10 different answers.
No, that's not true.
So
20. You get 20 different answers.
20 different answers. That's why we ain't going to both. I want my pick.
All right, I'm gonna look at
I
it.
hate to tell you,
But we'll have to have
I
it.
read it myself, and I think we vote for y'all.
No,
But I'm
Jesus.
gonna say
Thank you very much,
But
Ms.
you
Carter.
know what? I can
But
tell you.
I'm not taking up with you, Charlie. I'm just telling you, I read it.
Robert Mueller, anytime an action is brought to the floor.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Port Arthur EDC regular meeting. Today is October 3rd, 2022, and we're calling the meeting at 6 p.m. May I get a roll call?
Darrell Anderson. Beverly Raymond. Christopher Smith. Ellen Clark. Harold Doucette. Jerry LeBeau.
Here.
Rhonda Connor. You have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you. Invocation and pledge, Mr. Doucette, please.
The Lord's Prayer in unison. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy
Kingdom
kingdom
come,
thy
will be done
on earth as in
heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
and
Forgive our
forgive us our
trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you all received a copy of the minutes of the following board meetings. Is there any questions? No questions. Can I please get a motion?
Moved.
Second, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion passed. Communication and presentation none. Communication draft PAEDC 2022 newsletter.
Yes, Chairman, this has been presented to the board as a draft of the newsletter that staff has been working on. This is just, as I said, a draft, just so you can all look at it. If you have any input or recommended changes, please let staff know.
Okay, speakers, none. Reports and potential, about the plaque, I'm sorry. 504, here you go.
Good evening, Board. Each of you should have a copy of the rendering, the latest rendering of the plaque. And on the second page, stapled to it are the proposed changes that I received from board members. And I didn't know if anybody else, I didn't hear from everyone, so I wanted to know if anyone else had any changes or any.
These additions
I know we need to add 501, that was my oversight, because they did contribute to the building and that was always part of the purpose. Adding the city manager, the new CEO, and the new law firm, those are suggestions that came from board members, so I didn't know if we had any other suggestions and which direction the board wanted to take.
question is 501. They're on the plaque for this building as well?
Correct.
Okay.
Not in favor of city manager, unless someone could say why.
What's that?
I don't see why the city manager's name is on.
It's on?
Yeah,
Well, everybody else is on.
no, not everybody else.
Well, every councilman's on.
Okay, councilmen are elected officials and they're the one that makes the decision. when this came before, it goes before council. Okay? So,
That was mine. When I looked at it, I seen the mayor, I seen everybody else, and I figured the city manager would be on there.
the mayor is part of council.
Okay.
Jerry.
Well, don't matter to me. I don't think council should be on there, period, because it's not their building. They didn't contribute anything here, but that's it. That's all
They
I
made
gotta
the
say.
decision to approve this building, okay? Without them, it doesn't exist, okay? So I could see council members, without council approval, this building could not come into existence. And I know that for a fact.
I know when we talked about it a long time ago, they typically would not be, like, they're not on the plaque for this building, but with the amount of investment being made in downtown Port Arthur, the board at that time said that they wanted to include the city council on the plaque. So that's the direction we took.
Well, to be frank, don't get me wrong, the city didn't donate. The money came from EDC and also new tax credits and stuff.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, we're talking about either individuals who approve all of this. Okay, the thought of the building coming up was presented to a board, and it started at the EDC. And when the EDC board decided that they approved this, then it went to the city council. And the city council approved the EDC going with this project. So if you really want to know, that's how it all came to fruition. That's how this building existed. And those are the people who had a hand in saying yay or nay. And that's also with any alter changes or anything else. Still these two groups of people, the board and council members.
Any other discussions?
The new CEO and the new law firm, why would they be on the plaque?
I basically included those because if you look, it says 2022. Okay, and we're still in 2022. Now, that's only if we go forward and we commission that building before the end of the year. But we've got the other attorney on there, and we don't have the new one on there, and that's what I said. And to me, okay, if we're a board and we're an EDC, if we happen to get a CEO prior to that time, they would be within that 2022 timeframe.
Just know that once we make final decisions, it's gonna take about 8 weeks for the plaque to be delivered.
That's okay. In reference to what Commissioner Anderson was talking about, once again, I just explained who was involved. I'm not in favor of any law firm being on it, and I'm not saying that they don't help, but we pay law firms to advise and give us legal information when it comes to this building and stuff. That was strictly EDC, the board, and the council approving, and the CEO working with developer who got the contract and doing this final thing. Okay, I didn't see nothing. So I think in line with the new law firm, I don't think we should have any law firm unless somebody could see what the law firm contributed at the time. So
Then also, and I'm not trying to stay on this long because we have a real short agenda, but then if you, in addition to that, if you want to start talking about a law firm, we just had one that we just had and it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Then, we've had people to come through and that's not listed on here. I mean, at some point, it has to stop. So, I mean, what are we going to, that's what I'm saying. So if we start doing stuff like that, you have to go back and consider a number of other things as well. And then you don't end up with a plaque, you end up with a wall.
And
You just can't.
I usually don't interject in policy discussions and considerations, but as the new law firm, we don't need to be on this plaque. And so if I have I would actually prefer our name not be on the plaque because we had nothing to do with it. And I mean, I'm not saying it was done wrong, but I don't want my name on something I didn't have anything to do with.
Well, it's not about you, child, it's about all law firms. I'm in agreement that I don't see the reason for putting the law firms
And I concur.
on the plaque.
Okay, so we want to remove the addition of the new law firm as well as removing German Gertz
Yep.
from the plaque. Am I,
A vote, Charlie,
CEO.
for this? Can they take a vote on that?
Well, okay, I'll make okay, you gonna do it?
No, you can make the motion, but the new CEO is also issued due to the fact we don't know when he's gonna start, and it's probably gonna be a month before 2022 is gone, so I don't see the need of putting a new CEO on. That's just my opinion. I just want
It's my assessment. The city manager don't need to be on now. The law firms don't need to be on now. The new CEO don't need to be on now.
understood?
Somebody needs to
All right.
make a motion. We're talking about it.
I make a motion that the names that are listed on the plaque remain the same and that we not include on this plaque the city manager, the CEOs, or any law firm, and that we add the board of directors of the 501 Proctor Street. Pat Hone, Caprina Frank Jackson, Eli Roberts, Deborah Ashbury Scott, and Micah Shane Senegal.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion passed. Next is unfinished business. Discuss and consider awarding a bid and entering into an agreement for the janitorial services at the press building. Crystal?
Yes, Chair. This item has come before you before. Staff did make a recommendation 2 meetings ago. At the last meeting, I understand that you all would like to see the scope of work, which has been provided to you in your packets today. I think there was a question as to whether they are responsible for the leased kitchens, including Lamar State College's kitchen, which the scope of work you'll see in there that they are not responsible for cleaning Lamar State College's kitchen, neither the leased kitchen nor the bistro area. So I would like to recommend to the board, just because this has been in question, and it'll be your pleasure if you'd like to go with that recommendation or not, but that we re-review these proposals. And I would like to invite 1 or 2 board members to sit on the review team as well.
With this janitorial service, right? If we're gonna go back and do it that way, I would like to take a look at, once again, trying to get one contractor to do both our buildings so that when we contract, we talked about this in the finance committee for other board members. We talked about that and we mentioned that, and what we would like to do here at Economic Development Corporation is deal with one person when we have maybe 2 different things, but it's the same deal. Because normally you could get one price, and because if you do 2 contracts, you may have two prices and stuff. But we also limit the number of people we're dealing with and vendors that we engaged in to do certain things. You know, so it would be to our benefit. So if we're going to go back and take a look at that, maybe we may take a look at actually talking with the people who have this building and letting them know exactly what we want over there. And maybe, because maybe they didn't understand or done the contract. Now, if they don't want to bid, that's fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying force nobody. But whenever possible, if we could do that, that's what we would like to do. We said that when we're talking in finance, and that was our.
Yes, sir. And I'm glad you brought that up because in discussing with our purchasing director across the street today. We had set this RFP for 1 year, but we can actually set it for 6 months whenever you do award the contract, because this building is already under contract. It does come to term, I believe, in March, but it's coming up early next year. So we could set this contract for a 6-month term, and then once the contract for this building is up, then we can put them together, rebid it for a 2-building contract.
I think we've already handled this issue in that we had a motion on the table and we voted that we were going to pay month to month for the cleaning services for that building. And I'm of the viewpoint that we should keep it at the month to month until we get to the point of where we're ready to bid all of them. Now, I haven't read the contract, but typically there is a clause in that contract to where you can give people notification that you're going to rebid that contract. But I haven't read the City of Port Arthur's contract yet, so I don't know what's in the existing cleaning contract. But if we're not going to go out there and do sole sourcing, because we've been saying this as a board for 6 months now, we would like to have one source for all of our properties. And it's going to make it so much easier. And if we have to do something in the stopgap to say, okay, well, we're just going to go every 30 days, then I'm of the impression that we just go every 30 days.
That is one thing that I am going to be discussing with them tomorrow as to how we can handle that, because although we did approve going month to month at the last meeting, the problem that presented itself was because of the way the purchasing department and the financing department is structured over there, everything over $5,000 has to go before council for approval. So when it comes to the EDC's purchasing. So unfortunately, because that particular vendor is charging more than the $5,000 cap, that became an issue. So we do have to set an amount there for whether it's a 6-month period, a 1-month period, 3-month period, and it becomes an issue once it gets to purchasing. So that is why we're trying to see how we can at least do to take care of this month while you all are re-reviewing and come back with a contract, because we do need somebody to start cleaning over there, because right now no one is cleaning.
Attorney, Charlie, let's talk about purchasing. Do we have to do that? We can't do 1-month purchasing? I mean, we can't set this like we're doing now? Like we're proposing to do this board?
The state law does not, the procurement laws regarding, well, let me back up. State procurement laws applicable to cities are not applicable to economic development corporations. So there is no state law that is required to be followed for an economic development corporation to procure services. We would need to follow whatever our local procurement requirements are, but there is no state law. So I'm not familiar with our local procurement requirements, but as far as the state law is concerned, we can certainly procure these services in any manner that we choose.
How about getting our attorney a copy of procurement policy that we have in the city? Charlie, take a look at it and see what we need to address and send back to the council.
Okay.
So that we can purchase things without having to go back to council. You know, directors got up to 25,000 operation, routine daily operation that they approve and doesn't come to council. We need to take a look at what is written now and what we need to modify and ask council to approve so that we could cut some of this red tape out.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
That includes, that goes through our bylaws also, right?
Yeah, yes, sir, whatever. Well, I have read the bylaws, and I don't remember exactly what it says, but there is some dollar requirement, I think. But anyway, it would be our bylaws, our procurement policies, and that's probably it.
We could look at it
Anything
and
else?
see.
Meantime, we need to come up with a solution of what immediately need to get this building clean. It's been over a month. The building is filthy. It's not being cleaned. So we need to come up with something, immediate, upon one-time cleaning or something to get this building clean.
She gonna
Because we
work
look
on
at
that
another
tomorrow.
month or so before we.
She'll take care of that tomorrow.
Don't we have somebody in place? I thought we decided that last
Yeah, I
time.
think we decided that last time, but apparently we didn't initiate it. But you should have whatever it is you need in place to have the one-time cleaning done or the 1 month cleaning done until we can resolve this. Did city council not vote on it?
Well, we didn't send that one as a resolution to city council because it wasn't a contract. We did that as a month. You all approved a month to month. So we would actually have to put something in writing, a contract together, an agreement with them stating that, and a final number, whether it's a month to month for 6 months. And again, everything, there has to be a dollar amount tied to everything in order for purchasing. And they kind of nixed it whenever we said we're doing a month to month for $6,000 and odd dollars. They're like, no, you need an agreement for that. So that's why we're back here. As Ms. Beverly said, we do need to start cleaning. So tomorrow, I am meeting with the purchasing manager to get someone to start cleaning it as of now, just in the meantime. And then hopefully we can have these re-reviewed. And whenever you have your next special or regular board meeting, we can enter into a contract.
Well, excuse me, but month to month was a solution that we came up with in lieu of having two of them. We wanted to put them in line. So month to month was, so if you got with purchasing and purchasing says, no, we don't want to do the month to month, well, then let's do it for 6 months. In other words, let's bring it to where we said we're going to go, because we only responding to what you said and what the advice we got. But what we want to do, we want one. So you're saying in order for us to have one, what we need to do is get somebody on board for a period of time so that when this one expires, now we're going out for the bid for the both.
Yes, sir.
So if that's 6 months, then that's what we need done instead of the month to month. And if purchasing said, no, we don't like the month to month, well, do the 6 months. Do whatever it takes to get where we want to go. We would just want to get to the 6 months where we could get the bid out, and they're gonna bid on the whole shooting match.
And that's what I'm asking of you tonight, is to go ahead and re-review these for a 6-month term.
There you go.
And then we can make a recommendation based on that review team's reviews.
I make a motion that we allow the CEO to negotiate a contract for a 6 months period for janitorial service over the press building, at which time when that X out, then we'll go out for a janitorial service for both buildings together.
Before, Ms. Clark, you was on this finance, would it be possible to sit on that board? You could sit on that? The
Review team.
The review team? You would? Okay. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion, second, all approve? Against? Motion passed. Next is consent agenda, discuss and consider approving the second and final renewal of the contract with Phrase Landscaping for the landscaping irrigation maintenance at Jade Business Park. Expires November the 2nd, 2022.
Yes, sir. This is the landscaping and irrigation maintenance at the Jade Avenue Business Park, which is the newly acquired land that you all purchased several years ago adjacent to the Port Arthur Business Park. Fry's Landscaping has had this contract since 2020, and we are asking the board to approve their second and final renewal.
So moved.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion passed. Non-consent, discuss and consider approving the proposal for industrial and commercial mechanical for quarterly HVAC preventive maintenance, including filter change for the Port Arthur EDC facilities located 501 Proctor and 549 4th Street.
Yes, sir. This item was presented to you at the last board meeting, regular board meeting, regarding the 501 Proctor HVAC preventative maintenance. We did go back and ask them to include 549 4th Street so we can have that one contract for both buildings. So they have provided that proposal to you all, and that is what is before you tonight, and we are recommending to go ahead and approve this based on the fact that they do participate in a co-op with the state of Texas, so we can procure their services.
So moved.
A motion and second, all in favor? Against? Motion carried. At this time, we are going to go into closed meeting, Section 55107-4 Government Code, to discuss matter of personnel, Port Arthur EDC Chief Executive Officer. Okay, can we get a roll call?
Errol Anderson. Beverly Raymond. Christopher Smith. Ellen Clark. Harold Doucette. Jerry LeBeau.
Here?
Rhonda Connor. You have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you. I make a motion that we approve the proposed compensation benefits and contract terms to be offered to the corporation's chief executive officer.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. That's it. Okay.
Second.
Motion. All in favor? Gone.
Aye.
Good.